Hello everybody, Wyatt Andrews Workshop here, and welcome back to another episode of Orewell Zoo. So this is all looking pretty new. This is an unfamiliar area for anyone who's just been watching my videos or probably doesn't remember, because the structure here was, I think, built in June, so starting to approach a year old. But this is actually what used to be the Glacier Bay section. I've done several versions of this area over the years. There was one in October of 2021. I started another one in early 2022, and then another one in summer of 2022. So, and this is sort of a last remnant of that. And I wasn't happy with any of them. Well, actually, that's not true. I liked the first one, but I accidentally saved over it, so that's completely gone. But yeah, so at the moment there is no Glacier Bay, but I decided to sort of extend the theme a little geographically. So some exhibits we're about to see up here are sort of more towards the southern part of North America. Not like too southern, like towards Mexico, but more like British Columbia, Pacific Northwest area. And this area is called the North Island Passage. And it's sort of a single section in a sort of master plan I've got going called the Avenue of the Americas. Avenue of the Americas is actually a street name in New York City, but I really liked the name, and it's fitting here because the Avenue of the Americas is going to take up the entire east side of the zoo and will include the Amazon River section. It's going to have Magellanic penguins. That's sort of going to be like the first section way over there, because those live at the bottom of the continent. And then you get into the South America, and then you get towards the sort of southern parts of North America, and then the final part, which is actually going to be version 4 of Glacier Bay, will have like polar bears and Arctic foxes, and I think I'm going to put moose in Glacier Bay too, because I was originally going to have them over here, but I think I just figured there ought to be more stuff in Glacier Bay, so I brought the moose over. And moose do live pretty far north in Alaska and stuff, so it works despite their pretty wide range. But I say we get into it. Oh, and then also, new lampposts. The older lampposts, which I'll put up a picture of, they were primarily based, well, I mean, not based, but they, like, a big part of them was one of Lion's custom font piece signs. And it was just a really heavy piece count item, and like they were just a bit too generic. I wanted something themed specifically for the zoo, so I brought over a billboard with this logo that I made, and yeah, I think these look a lot better, and also way less pieces too. It was like 700 something, and now it's 116. So yeah, these look really, really good. You'll see them all around the zoo, including this area going forward, and yeah, that's pretty exciting. But we're gonna cross the service road over here. Oh, I forgot to. Oh yeah, and then also for Glacier Bay, I had been using these by Ricey, but just like specifically for this area. But I wanted to use my own blueprint just to make the area feel more unique and special to me. So yeah. But walking down the trail here, you can see more lampposts and such. And here I am starting to use more of the newer trees, just sort of updating my foliage palette in general. So we've got these cork oaks, we've got the London planes over here. I'm starting to integrate more conifers into the zoo as well. That was something I pretty steadfastly avoided up until recently, just because I didn't think they mixed in well with the other sort of deciduous trees. But I figured, you know, conifers are very hardy. They can live and grow almost anywhere in the world. And especially for a section like this, which takes place in the Pacific Northwest, you kind of have to. So I've got these, and then I've got the yew trees, which I already loved because they have a really cool shape and, you know, crazy branches and stuff, and the colors are really nice. So these are popping up all around the zoo now. And then I've got the California redwoods in the back, obviously sunken down significantly, because if I can... Yeah, this wasn't gonna happen. This looks pretty cool now that I'm looking at it, but no, not geographically correct. So I've sunk them down and sort of bundle them up so they look just sort of like a nice tall tree with a unique color and texture. So yeah, and then I also used to have a bunch of info signs scattered around that were also derived from Lion's font piece signs, but those were also really high piece count, and I just wasn't really happy with the design changes that I had made. And I haven't made new signs for this specific exhibit, but you'll see some really cool ones going forward. But yeah, if you couldn't immediately tell from the big old sign up here, this is our Stellar Sea Eagle exhibit. Now, Stellar Sea Eagle don't actually live in the Pacific Northwest because I built this when this whole area was just Glacier Bay, and we used to have like caribou and Arctic fox, and right over there actually was where a polar bear exhibit used to be, but I was not happy with it. So this is the sort of, as I said, the last remnant of that phase or version of Glacier Bay. But, I worked really hard on this cage structure, and I didn't want to get rid of it. And I also didn't really want to put golden eagles in here because those are sort of a lot more generic and like much more common throughout the world. So I figured I would let the Stellar Sea Eagle stick around. They're also one of my favorite animals too, so... but perhaps as a design flaw of my own, you can't really see much of the like... Oh, well, actually, you sort of can. But, yeah, I want to see like the whole inside of the exhibit. And I need to redo the landscaping because I'm not really happy with the choices I was making back then. We also have so many new, nicer grass pieces now that I kind of have to. I'm not really sure I would continue to use these rocks either, made of the temple pieces. But I still think this looks really, really good. I love this branch. Sorry. I love this branch that's been tied up to these two central poles. It looks really, really cool, especially with the rope coils going around it. And yeah, big fan of all of this. I also really like this log that I've just sort of stood up, and the eagles can perch on that. I don't know really to what extent the wings would need to be clipped on these guys for an exhibit like this, but based on the fact that they would be able to get on here and on the log and stuff, I have to imagine they wouldn't be. I'd be a pretty happy Stellar Sea Eagle in this exhibit. There's a lot of elevation opportunities. And then I've got this little shelter box over here, and there isn't actually a holding facility for these guys. I'm thinking for two reasons. A, it's sort of an older exhibit, and B, these guys are already basically polar animals anyway, so I think they would be fully accustomed to any sort of wintering. But they've got this little nest box, and if there was sort of an emergency, they could definitely be brought over to some distant facility. But yeah, I didn't think they would need one, so I didn't build one. But they've still got staff access and stuff, and this comes in on the other side. And I also really like the decal work I've done on this structure. I like the idea that this is actually a stone wall that they plastered over. It's sort of cool. And then I also really like the beams I've got over here. I just thought that would just sort of be a cool texture to break up the sort of monotonous concrete. But yeah, that is the Stellar Sea Eagle exhibit. Let's look at it from above. I really like the sort of subtle plane changes on the top of this aviary. Like from certain angles, it just looks completely flat, but like there's little differences here and there that give it some extra depth, and I'm a huge fan of it. So yeah, Stellar Sea Eagles. Let's get back on the ground here and continue on our journey. Yeah, so there's a holding facility over there. Let's actually check that out first. That would be a cool way to tease the exhibit it's meant for. I am in love with this little corner over here. Let's actually go up because there's a bunch of stuff on the roof too. These air conditioner pieces, I had previously sort of disregarded them just because you couldn't really do like organic looking curvature, but like you can. It's not perfect, it's not seamless, but I think it makes it look a lot more busy and man-made, like as opposed to just like a person playing Planet Zoo. But yeah, I think that looks really, really good. And I've got these windows sunk into the ceiling, and then I've got a main sort of garage door here. And then over here we've got a staff door and an additional one that goes into this sort of cage area. And then I forgot to actually put like a door into the exhibit itself. That's something I need to do. but I still think this looks really, really good for now. But I say enough fooling around. Let's get over there. Oh, and then also this fence, I think it was derived from a fence that Lion had made a really long time ago, but I added a little handlebar and some extra mesh just for protection. So yeah, it's on pause. There we go. Another view of this exhibit. And this is recent too, but I opted to do it in the same style as the Stellar Sea Eagle exhibit, which I think was a really good choice because it adds a whole... Are you kidding me? Okay, don't look at that. It adds a whole bunch of more aesthetic consistency to the area that was really valuable. So yeah, let's check out what's on this side over here. Now this is a very simple sort of lower budget exhibit for some Roosevelt elk. Yeah. And I really wanted to add like a pond in the middle, but not one that was too man-made looking. So it's got that kind of pea soup green color, and then the I'm really jazzed about the landscaping in this exhibit. It's so just natural. That's something I've really been shooting for lately, is just super naturalistic landscaping with vague, well, not too vague. You'll get really industrial going this way, but just some sort of simple, utilitarian structures that just make it an exhibit as opposed to a like actual natural habitat. And I've got these little posts surrounding the trees so they don't rub on them. And yeah, I just think this is absolutely beautiful. You've got all these different grasses. You've got the buffalo grass has been especially valuable lately. But I think I've got, you've got some periwinkle in there too. And obviously the tall grass brush. But I've put some the mulch path under it. So you've still got that brown sort of undertone. I'm wondering if I have any fog grass in here, but I don't think I do. I've got the, I think these are saltwort. Common saltwort. Yeah. Common saltwort. And then this fence actually is also by Lion that's surrounding the whole area. He built it for the cassowary exhibit that he did in the Australia section a long time ago. But I really, really love the... What am I walking over? Oh, it's the saltwort. It's got a hitbox. But I really love the additional fencing at the bottom that's made to prevent small animals to get through. That's like a really cool... safety measure that I was previously unaware of before he showed it to me. And yeah, this is so pretty. I've got more of these little rocks sprinkled around that I can use the random rotation all tool on just to get some variation going. And if we look closely in the back, you can see the desert dome peeking out, and this is now one of my favorite views in the zoo. It's so freaking cool. And the I forget who did the Roosevelt elk mod. It was either Leaf or Narwhaler, one of the two. But yeah, it looks really, really good. And just because the actually in this exact spot there used to be a really big reindeer exhibit, and I had a huge hill going up back here, and I just thought that was way too much room, way too much theming. And like it was just sort of a big pain to landscape, especially with the grasses we had at the time, which were not these. So it didn't look nearly as good. But I'm now over the moon about this exhibit in this area in general. It's quickly become one of my favorites. But we're actually going to hop out of explore mode really quickly because we've got an actual holding facility, unlike the sea eagles. So the elk would come in here, in through this door, and then they'd come out into two of these stables, and they've also got a little yard here. The stable doors could slide open, and they could enjoy themselves here if they needed some extra privacy. So yeah, that looks really, really good. Shout out to Beyond Drew TV for these stable fences. He actually made them for Thornton Hills Zoo years and years ago, but I've been using them whenever I'm in need of a stable, just because they look super good. I hope Drew is doing well. He hasn't posted a video in a really long time, but maybe he's just busy. But I miss the guy. He was one of my sort of like welcoming people into the Planet Zoo community. That was actually my first guest build, was in Thornton Hills Zoo. I perhaps a little rudely asked if I could redo his polar bear and grizzly exhibits, but he was super nice and allowed me to like sort of flex what little muscles I had at the time, and it was all uphill from there. So yeah, I hope he's doing well. Anyways, over here we've got a non-animal exhibit about the big redwood trees they have up in the northwest. So the sort of main base for this whole structure is actually a redwood tree that I just I sank it way down and put it up like this so it could be a trunk. And then obviously all these roots are the faux tree roots, and then I've got an extra like the tropical mossy log in there just for some extra variation. And I think this looks super, super cool. And there are these signs I was talking about. I've sort of got this organic base plate, and then I've put little billboards on it with a bunch of text, and I think it looks rad as hell. Yeah, and then I've got some pines and ferns sprinkled around just because those are also super common in redwood forests. And then this yellow cedar looks really cool here. I like how sad these trees look. They're just so droopy and wiry, which was something I didn't like about them initially. But if you use them well, they can be used to great effect just to get that sort of messy undergrowth look if you're dealing with temperate or boreal forests. So there's a bunch of exciting stuff on the left, but we're going to go to the right first, because over here we've got that exhibit I was looking at, and that was so rudely spoiled for me by this guy on the roof. Let's grab him. Come here. How did he even get up here in the first place? I made sure they wouldn't be able to. I want to put him on the platform. What? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Cougar? You gonna keep ruining my video? What do you mean oh, there he is. Okay, well, he's in the cage now. That works too. Yeah, this is the cougar exhibit, everybody. Yay! But yeah, these, you've probably been noticing these really cool, viewing shelters with the blue corrugated roofs. And those were sort of part of the version 3 of Glacier Bay that I made earlier last year. But I still really like how these looked, so I kept them and brought them over. And yeah, this is the cougar exhibit. As a whole, for this entire North Island Passage area, I'm thinking early 90s. So you've got early 90s? I think early 90s. Oh, no. Actually, early 2000s. Because I've actually been laying out my master plans lately for all the areas in the zoo. And the 90s are what I'm calling the heart of the zoo master plan, based on the one at the San Diego Zoo. But it's focusing on renovations in the center of the zoo. So that's where like the elephants and gorillas and the primate house is. So that's when all of those would have been handled. But the Avenue of the Americas, goes from 1999 to 2010. So, and this would have been one of the earlier additions to that, with the Amazon house coming before. So yeah, this is the sort of look we're going for, is early 2000s. So not too themed, but really solid naturalistic exhibitry. Yeah, if I can get a cougar to do something cool, something not like that, that would be awesome. If he wants to help me out here. There we go. Yeah, so this is all traversable. And then I've brought over this, the resting platform from the Hamadryas baboon exhibit, because I think it looks super, super good. And yeah, there it goes. Graceful. Yeah, the cougars look great. This is actually the first time I've built an exhibit for cougars. I found myself sort of neglecting a lot of the animals from the North America DLC, but they all look great. So I'll definitely try and use more of them going forward. So yeah, cougar exhibit. But over here, the fun doesn't stop, because we've got some more very cool signage by myself. So I've got like screenshots. That one's actually from Nexus, but I took this one. And then I've got all these paintings, and I forget the name of the artist, but I'll put them up because I've relied on their work pretty heavily here. Yeah, but these look great. I do think the best way to go about animal billboards is both in-game screenshots and like illustrations of them, because those are also like not real, so like they fit nicely within the little universe of the game. And yeah, another sort of thing I've got going in this like little micro section is these concrete walls with the little holes in them. I don't know exactly what these holes are for. They're inspired by the tropical discovery at Denver Zoo, specifically Rubel's usage of them and his recreation in Tivoli. But I just thought they looked really rad as a sort of brutalist, bit of brutalist architecture, which we're going to lean hard into as we'll see going forward. But yeah, some more of these really neat signs. But something I really love is this. So this is like a donor plaque wall, and I've got like a specific name for this exhibit, which is Frederickport Cougar Crossing. And I've got like a whole bunch of little donor plaques with like varying amounts of text and color and like elevation and stuff. I think I just looked up like, do I have my flashlight on? No. Okay. Ugh, excuse me. I just looked up like donor wall, like cool designs, and something like this came up, and I've sort of adapted it to my needs, and here it is. And then another thing I really like about this wall setup is this thing. It's just the support beam and the cable that goes to hold up the exhibit, but I've sort of interrupted the wall to like make space for it, which I think looks really, really cool. And I've also got this additional custom fence, which is a lot more themed. It's actually the African one, but the patterns sort of remind me of the aesthetics of the indigenous people in this part of the world. So I've repurposed it for that. And then over here I've got a nice little manzanita tree. The manzanita trees are from sort of more the American Southwest, but I think they fit really well here. It just immediately screams like American West Coast. And I think that's a really cool way to hammer it down aesthetically. And they've returned to the roof, so that's cool. Thanks a lot. But we're actually not done with the cougar exhibit, I realized, because down here, there's an additional cage space, and this would lead into the holding facility. They've got some extra beams and stuff here they can rest on. And then this blueprint is by Leader. It's like a sort of feeding cage for the animals. And yeah, looks really, really cool. So that's the cougar exhibit. Look at him go. Look at him go. But that's not all we have to show, as we can see by this huge rock formation on the other side. So let's go check that out. Let me see if I can get the lighting to look its best. There we go. So, past all of these groovy mud walls is the Levinson family Pacific Crest. So this is still part of the North Island Passage, but it's just sort of the name we have for these handful of exhibits over here, and another donor wall continuing. But then something unique I've done here is just put in pictures of the animals you're going to see sprinkled throughout, which I think looks really, really dope. And then I've got more of these font piece signs that I made by tracing over photographs, including some otters. But we'll see how that goes momentarily. So, yeah, this I think is the highlight of the entire area. This handful of exhibits for a number of reasons. So, yeah, let's get into them. So, I think the brutalism is on sort of full display here, which I think is awesome. More of these sort of hold concrete. I have no idea what this is. I'm gonna actually watch that tropical discovery video and see how he explains them, because I'd like to know what their actual purpose is before I just spread them all willy-nilly. But yeah, brutalism. I've got this shade structure up here, which is ripped from the North Carolina Zoo. I was looking at the Zoo Tours video for that just to get as much inspiration as I could. And most of this is from that, except for these little things, just because I figured there wasn't really sufficient enough shade until I added these like little cloth tarp structures in between the central beams. So yeah. And then let's look at the elephant in the room. Rockwork. Crazy rockwork. I am madly in love with this rockwork, and I can't thank Just Goron enough, actually, for discovering... Let's actually turn it around so we can get the big reveal. If it wants to work, please. I'm gonna pause the game now because the sea lions are going crazy. But it's the Moai heads from the South America DLC. We were the new Saint Reginald video is out too, so definitely watch that. But we were like goo goo gagaing over the decision to use these, which have been in the game for almost 3 years now, but nobody's ever thought to use them. So that was a huge game-changing discovery from Goron, which we try to do in every episode of St. Reginald. But yeah, holy frick, dude. And then I've got these, the faux rocks sprinkled in, but what might surprise you is what else I've put into these rocks. So, to get a sort of polished, perhaps more of an igneous looking rock in here, I've used these New World wolf sculptures. They kind of look like obsidian almost, or something like that. And I've got another one in here. But we'll look at more of what I've done like that to the left. But over here is our California sea lion exhibit. Or part of it, anyway. But we'll see what that means in a second. I've kind of let them breed unchecked, but that's okay. You can never have too many sea lions swimming around. Sometimes they dive. Hopefully they'll start doing it. I've put down the submarine buoy, which actually helps a lot. It gets them to actually go underwater for a reason. Let's see if any of them want to help me out here. No, maybe for my video, please. Alright. We'll just keep looking around until one of them does it. Oh, there he goes. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm still not over how good the diving looks in this game. It's just so satisfying to see the animals do what they're actually supposed to do. It makes it all feel so much more real. But yeah, some more of that crazy rock work. This is probably the best, in my personal opinion, the best rock work I've ever done. It's just revolutionary, because I've been trying to get this specific like formation. Like I've got these like big sort of columnar stones up top, but then they kind of go like invert a little, so there's sort of a like a cave down here. And that happens. You see that like specific design so often in zoos with fake rock work, but I've never been able to get it to look right until now. And it was all thanks to a piece that we've had for 3 years, which is so crazy, and no one thought to ever use it. Hey guys, we're all coming up on the island. So yeah, this is sort of 1 yard of the California sea lion exhibit. This is all unfinished over here, but I plan to have a second with an amphitheater, so that's where they'll do like training and stuff. But yeah, I just kind of want to hang out with these guys for a little bit, because this just looks so beautiful. Yeah, and like now you can't unsee the moai heads, which is a little funny, but sometimes I like to have the eyes, noses, and mouths poke out a little just for some extra some texture. Like the sculptors were probably like, I'm gonna put a little stone right here. But yeah, and then I've got some mud walls blended in, and I've used the faux rocks flexicolorness to my advantage. And I've sort of blended them into the sort of more sedimentary rock. There's igneous, sedimentary. I forget what the third one is called. I should know this. I like paleontology, which is adjacent to geology. But anyway, in the sedimentary rock, you've got some additional like smaller stones that have been sort of embedded and exposed over time. That sort of thing is really fun to think about when designing rock work, is the geology and how stuff gets like pushed out of the ground, and what gets eroded and what gets exposed and what gets like oxidized over time. So you see like the kind of rust that I've put in the cracks of the faux rocks, and then I've got some sort of more redder ones too. It all comes together to make such a beautiful picture. I'm so happy with it. And then I've also got all these plants that are sort of growing over it, and then the most of the ledges are topped with grass, but you've also got like these brambles that are like pouring over the cliffs and stuff. It looks really cool. It makes it feel, it gives it some nice age that helps a lot. And then over here I've got the sort of outdoor staff entrance to the exhibit. Keepers would be able to access this top part and maybe throw stuff down to the seals, but they could also very carefully come down this way and walk out onto the shore if they needed to do something, or get a sea lion or access to one if need be. That's the kind of stuff you gotta think about, like, can people, humans, like, traverse an exhibit? Because, like, if an animal's stuck somewhere, or if there's an emergency and it needs to be accessed, like, how are you gonna get to them? Or, like, if you're, like, feeding them, how are you gonna get to them? Like, you need to be able to access the animals at all times. So yeah, and then they've got a little island over here. You gonna swim for me? Well, he's swimming, but he's not diving. I want to see them diving. Oh, there he goes. Thank you very much. Alright, so that is part of what we've got going on here. But we're going to head back down to the ground and make our way down this little trail and see what's on the left over here. We're going to change the lighting again. Excuse me, miss. Oh yeah, and then also a sort of variation I've got of the signpost is one that has directional signage on it, which I think is also a really neat little add-on. Just like every once in a while, just so guests can see where they are and get their bearings. But this, you might be surprised, is the gray seal exhibit. I know I had otters out in front that were being advertised, but The main reason is because the sea otter mod wasn't diving, which was kind of a deal breaker for me. But I also thought it would be kind of funny to be like lore-wise, like, yeah, we used to have sea otters, but I guess we just couldn't keep them anymore. They all eventually just passed away. So now gray seals are in here, and it's just sort of a like temporary. Well, not temporary, because I imagine they would be here as long as they could. But in terms of setup, it's just like, well, this exhibit would work for gray seals, so why not? We have like gray seals that need to go somewhere, so here they are. And yeah, these guys look great still. They're having a lot of fun in here. They actually, if I can get them to dive, they actually do it for a really long time if they want to cooperate. Oh, this guy's getting showered by the waterfall. That's cool to see. Let's see if he goes though. You wanna? No? Not for the video? Really? Please? Please? Come on. Do it. Alright, screw you two then. But, yeah, also really happy with this one. Obviously, like, the sea lion exhibit is a lot more, like, me discovering the techniques and, like, wow, wow. Oh, look at him go. It's so cool. But yeah, over here, I had like already established the design for it, so I finished this one a lot more quickly. But I still think it looks really, really good. You guys gonna dive? Yeah, they're doing it! Oh, it looks so cool. And yeah, the submarine buoy really, really helps to get them to do it, even if they don't have much space to. So yeah, just a little tip from me. But here I am, still blending the mud walls and the other rocks together. But this is where I start to go a little crazy. So over here, I've put the classic limestone sculptures, which are now FlexiColor. So I can do this kind of stuff. So there's a gorilla in here. And then I've got some of the Twilight gargoyles. This is like silly. I'm not going to do this on a regular basis, but I just wanted to see what I could get away with. And the results are both pretty funny and also convincing, but not so much once you like know what the piece is. But I do think the limestone statues still look really good. Just sort of sprinkled around to get some extra texture and variation, blah blah blah. But yeah, this fence design is based on one at the sort of Pinniped Point exhibit at the Brookfield Zoo, which is a really cool exhibit. Brookfield Zoo has a bunch of cool exhibits. I was scrolling through the zoo chat gallery for Brookfield Zoo recently, and I saved a whole bunch of images because they just have so much stuff to look at and be inspired by, even if it's not my favorite zoo in the whole world. But yeah, so more. Let's actually change the lighting because it hits that wall really nicely. So this mud wall, I think over here is especially cool. If I can. Let's actually go over here. This mud wall, I think, is especially cool. Just because I really like the color of it. It's a lot redder than the other ones. And I really like the, like, sort of, like, curvature of it. Like, this one, like, it's smaller, but it's a lot like flatter. But this one is a lot more like hilly, which I think looks really, really cool. And then I've got this this little waterfall over here that they can enjoy, which they definitely are. They're getting pelted by it. But yeah, that's the gray seal exhibit, or former sea otter exhibit. And I still need to add signage to this one, but I'm happy with it for now. And then their land portion also looks really cool. I've loved the sort of jagged terraced rock work I have going on here. But yeah. Autosave. And then I've got some more planted rock work over here. And then this would be a sort of feeding cage that the keepers could interact with them on. And then this is going to be their holding facility, but that's all under construction for now. So, in terms of the future of the area, this is where the second sea lion yard is going to be with their viewing for the amphitheater. And then over here, I plan to have a black bear exhibit. And at this point, the Pacific Crest will be over, and I'll get into other exhibits. I'm gonna have black bears and wolves, and then the North Island Passage will give way to the Amazon, or in this direction, it'll give way to Glacier Bay. But I'm not sure what I want to work on first. I think it'll be Glacier Bay, just because the Amazon is going to be a huge undertaking. Like on my species list, that area has over 100 species. It's ridiculous, and I'm gonna need like all of the room I can get. So I have this whole plot saved over here, which is super duper exciting. But yeah, as it stands, this is the North Island Passage. I actually now have the St. Reginald file, just because it's my turn. And I'll probably be doing more marine mammal stuff, since I've sort of got that on the brain. But yeah, let's pull out here. I've been working on the Madagascar house, which is down by the entrance, but that's not really ready to show. And then I've been sort of burnt out with the Africa pavilion, so I might not be handling that for a while. I have plans to redo the primate house in Gorilla Canyon, as well as the elephant yards. The shelter building actually is sort of complete. Crocs actually handled the interior of that almost a year ago, and we recorded a video, but it got lost on my laptop. So what I think I'm going to do is reapproach the entire area, and then we'll finally be able to show off that fantastic interior. So I'll probably have a St. Reginald video out sooner than an Orewell one, but I'll see you in whatever comes first, and have a good one.